What's up, guys? What an insane Fight Night card. These are those Fight Night cards that seem boring or uninteresting on paper, but greatly exceed expectations. Perform with some amazing fights, great finishes. This is a great card, man. Oh yeah, and on my picks, I got 8 out of 12 correct, and all 4 of my confident picks were correct. Main event had an easy finish for Tatsuro Taira. The co-main event, Mateusz Rebecki versus Duncan, and Elves Brener versus Esteban Ribovics were some of the best fights of the year. 2 crushing body kick knockouts from Rinya, Nakamura, and Andrey Pulayaev. This card absolutely delivered. I give it like an 8 out of 10 Fight Night card. And we'll start with the main event. So Tatsuro Taira defeated Hyun Sung Park by a second round submission. Just a very easy fight. Taira dropped him in the first round after 2 right hands. The first one was a well-timed counter shot. He slightly pulled on the jab of Park, then countered over it with the right hand. Followed up with another one, dropping him. And honestly, I thought Park was going to be the better striker of the two, but Taira has dropped opponents before, and his striking is decent, but when you look at some of the fights of Park and how he annihilates some fighters in the stand-up, and then you see the way Taira fights, it's mostly through his grappling, it can make you think that Park is the better striker of the two, which I thought, right? I thought that he was going to land some good shots, and Taira would have to shoot takedowns to win the fight, but it just goes to show you the difference level, as well as Taira getting better after fighting Brener Royval. When you go up against fighters like that, it usually levels you up, and we saw that from Tatsuro Taira, not only in the stand-up, but even on the ground, very composed throughout. Like the way he sunk in the choke was slow and steady, but Park couldn't defend it. Taira grabbed onto the right hand, pulled it down, just casually grabbed into the choke after, in complete control the entire time with his grappling. Showed to be multiple levels ahead. Respect to Park for stepping up at short notice, but that is what a fight looks like when a non-ranked fighter goes against a number 6 contender. Good win for Tatsuro Taira, also taking the fight on short notice. He didn't need to fight Park. He was supposed to fight Emil Abazi, who is number 4 in the rankings. But after this win, I think he needs one more to get a title shot. So honestly, the perfect fight for him is Brener Moreno. That would be an exciting one. And then we go to the co-main event. And then Duncan gets the upset win against Mateusz Rebecki by a unanimous decision, 229-28 and 130-27. Pot shotting and precision is what won Duncan this fight. Rebecki, being the shorter fighter, he had to keep coming forward and in the open stance. Duncan was constantly keeping range to fire down the right straight, right high kick, knee to the body, and also those elbows. By the end of the first round, it looked like Mateusz Rebecki looked like he got into a fight with a tiger. He was all cut up. He landed good shots as well, big right hooks, left overhands. He didn't shoot as many takedowns as I thought he was going to. He stood up with the longer striker for the most part and got struck. And by the end of the fight, both these guys looked like they got hit by a truck. Amazing win for Duncan. Now he's on a 3-fight win streak. If I'm not wrong, they're all upset wins. I think he was the underdog in all of those fights. So yes, he was an underdog for all of his 3-fight win streak. But not only that, he's been an underdog in his last 7 fights total. And he won 6 of those. Can't down him anymore, man. I mean, he beat someone like Mateusz Rebecki, who was a good fighter. Rebecki beat Earl by. He could fight someone in the rankings next. I mean, 3-fight win streak. He beat Jordan Vucenic and now Mateusz Rebecki. Either he fights someone like Michael Johnson before fighting someone ranked, or he gets a ranked opponent next. And if he does, I mean, it seems like Grant Dawson would be his next fight, but I do like the Michael Johnson fight too. And then Esteban Ribovics defeated Elves Brener by unanimous decision. What a war this fight was, man. It was like a Rocky Balboa fight. Both guys just taking full power punches and sometimes even spinning elbows to the face. It just kept going. In that third round, these guys were landing with all of their power, punching through the jaw. Brener landing that spinning elbow to the face. How many left hands from Ribovics has to land to put that guy down, dude? The combinations from Ribovics were absolutely insane. Fought both in orthodox and southpaw very efficiently. But is Ribovics left-handed? He throws that left shot so well, whether it's the left straight, left hooks. Man, absolutely the fight of the night, just like all of this guy's fights are, man. Esteban Ribovics is must-see TV. No matter how far he goes in his career, he is always going to have some of the best fights you've ever seen. His Daniel Zellhuber fight is still one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion. Now he puts on this fight with Brener, which is one of the best fights of this year. But man, as exciting as he is, there is no way he has a long career fighting like that. He has a fighting style that's like a double-edged sword. He inflicts so much damage to his opponent, but he himself takes a lot of damage in these fights, man. Like the shots that Zellhuber and now Brener landed on him would have knocked out so many other fighters. But as of right now, man, he always puts on an exciting fight every single time. And then Rosa dominates Nora Cornolle by unanimous decision, 130-27 and 229-27. So 2 of them gave her 10-8 for the second round, which I did as well. I mean, absolute domination that entire round. She took her down right in the beginning, landed a plethora of shots, went for the Kimura, using that to pass into the full mount, had an arm choke, rear naked chokes. And Cornolle didn't really have that many moments in the second round. Third round was also mostly dominant for Rosa. Took her to the ground going under the elbow, I think it was, from Cornolle. But Cornolle started landing elbows off her back, which do hurt, but it was interesting because Bisping and Cruz Cruz are talking about those, I somewhat agree with both of them. Dominic Cruz is saying that you can't really generate as much power and hurt the opponent with those, so therefore they should just stand up. Bisping disagreed and said when he used them against GSP, it caused GSP to separate, allowing Bisping to stand up. Although Bisping is right that landing elbows like that could cause some good damage, but the impact is going to be very different as a middleweight man versus a bantamweight woman. So in that sense, Dominic Cruz is also correct that strikes like that in the lighter weight classes, especially in women's MMA, is not going to be as impactful and actually could give the opponent an opening to pass into a more dominant position, which is exactly what happened with Karol Rosa, right? She got elbowed a few times and then passed from full guard into half guard because Cornolle is more focused on landing strikes instead of standing up. But overall, it was a good win for Karol Rosa, just dominant performance from the second round onward. First round, Nora Cornolle was able to land some strikes, especially with her elbows and knees, but even in that one, she got outstruck. Rosa was landing a lot of big overhands in that round too, so it's better to stand up than throw elbows, I think, in this division, because also when you're lighter, it's easier to scramble to your feet than like a heavyweight can, right? But if a heavyweight's throwing elbows off his back, he could actually cause a lot more damage than the lighter fighter can. But Cruz also said that throwing punches, you can't really generate as much power either. Generally, he is true, but there are some exceptional examples like Uriah Hall in The Ultimate Fighter. He finished his opponent by throwing punches off his back. I think it was against Dylan Andrews in The Ultimate Fighter. Man, Uriah Hall has some wicked knockouts in Tough, man. Spinning hook kick, 8-second one-punch knockout, and then finishing the opponent off of his back with strikes. Tough Uriah Hall was a mythical fighter for sure. We only saw a glimpse of that when he fought Gegard Mousasi the first time, landing that hopping spinning back kick, and then he never returned to form ever. He was just regular Uriah Hall after that. And Neil Magny with a comeback finish, defeating Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos in the second round by ground and pound. Fight IQ was the difference. As soon as I saw Zaleski shooting takedowns and clinching up with Magny, I knew he was going to lose the fight. He is the better striker of the two. He's such a good kicker. Magny doesn't check kicks, and every time Zaleski targeted the legs, it was effective. But he wanted to grapple more. He wanted to clinch up with Magny, take him to the ground in the area that Magny's at his best. That is crazy. Zaleski didn't just keep it in the stand-up, revolve his game plan around the leg kicks. They were very effective in the fight when he threw them. And if Magny ever tried to pressure, rain out those power punches like he did in the first round. They landed some big shots there, but Magny was able to clinch up with him. Zaleski reversed the position with over and unders, but then he tried to go for a takedown instead of disengaging. The moment he tried to disengage was when Magny was getting double underhooks. That is a lot more difficult to disengage from than if you both have over and unders. Magny definitely had way higher fight IQ. He fought the way he fights best. There's also that position Magny had where he wanted to go for the darce, but halfway through, he held onto the grip and just started blasting knees at Zaleski. And then when he finally got on top, got the back, and just started pulverizing him with ground and pound, the fight was over. And a lot of that stemmed from Zaleski initially grappling with Magny. And ultimately, a great win for Neil Magny. He was coming off 2 losses in a row, now beating another veteran like Zaleski. And then Kevin Vallejos defeats Danny Silva by unanimous decision. It seemed like Silva thought he won the fight, and it was close, especially the third round. Both guys landed some big shots in that one, but I thought it was pretty clear that Vallejos was winning that fight. He landed the biggest shots. He landed more shots overall. Silva was ore farming in that third round a lot. He was slipping and dodging and taunting and talking trash, but that's never going to beat the fighter who's actually landing the bigger shots in there. Kevin Vallejos stuck to what he does best, right overhand counters that sometimes Silva was walking into. The guy has an insane chin, man. To take that many shots like that, Kevin Vallejos has one-punch knockout power. And Silva was taking those punches flush to the face and ate them like they were nothing. That could be demoralizing fighting someone like that. You're hitting them with your best shots, and not only does he not go away, but he's like egging on even more, walking you down, throwing body knees and stuff. Danny Silva is such a tough fighter, man, but it's a great win for Kevin Vallejos. And then Rinya Nakamura with a redeeming knockout win this time. His last performance wasn't great, but this time against Nathan Fletcher, he knocks him out in the first round with a perfectly timed body kick. Open stance, kicked his toes into the liver. As Fletcher looked like he wanted to throw a right hand, so he rotated his body into the kick, placed perfectly for the liver shot. And that was the end of the fight right there. Very easy win for Rinya Nakamura. These are the kind of performances we want to see from him, man. And he said after the fight that his game plan was to wrestle. He wanted to show everybody how good his wrestling actually is, but he said that Fletcher gave him the opening for the body kick. He took it and won the fight very quickly. And the thing about Nakamura, even though he is a wrestler, he does have a lot of first round knockouts. He's very explosive, but it's not just from that. Even with some of the knockouts with his punches, he has shown extremely good timing with his shots. Fast explosions and perfectly placed. And man, the guy's so humble. Michael Bisping asked him, who do you want to call out next? And Nakamura said that he's not in the position to call out anybody. He would need to win more, then he could call out some fighters. As of right now, where he's at, he wants to fight anybody the UFC puts in front of him. And then Rodolfo Vieira defeats Tresean Gore by a decision. What a performance, man. Striking looked better than ever, and all based off the fundamentals, man. Just the jab and the straight. was winning him this fight. He shot a lot of takedowns and Gore defended all of them except one. But the thing about Gore was he missed weight for this fight. 3.5 pounds is a lot to miss. So Vieira not only won the fight, but even gets a percentage of Gore's purse on top of it. He doubled the output, way higher striking accuracy, landed the jab and the straight the entire fight, even targeting the body with the two. But there was a moment in the second round where it looked like Gore may have poked him in the eye, but in the replay, it looked like the fist hit the eye instead. Now it's possible the thumb could have grazed his eye as well, but it did look like it was a jab to the eye. But great win for Rodolfo Vieira, one of the best performances of his career. And it's always cool to see Benson Henderson in the corner, yelling instructions the entire fight, man. You can't tone him out at all. He is so loud in the corner, man. If you're one of his fighters, like you could probably just hear everything he's saying the entire time. He didn't throw too much in this fight. He generally just doesn't throw that much. Very low output in fights. He was reaching with the right straight. He threw some good left hooks here and there. But even though Gore was defending the takedowns, they did offset him a lot. Like, that could throw off your striking rhythm. If you got something going in the striking and the guy just shoots a takedown and pushes you against the fence, even though you defend it, it can throw off that rhythm or even momentum that you have in the striking, right? And even though Vieira was failing on almost all of his takedowns, he kept shooting consistently the entire fight. It's because takedowns are not only to get the opponent to the ground, but it is to offset them. So then you can get your striking rhythm going before they do. And then shoot a takedown when they start throwing combinations and start getting more confident in the stand-up. Shoot a takedown, reset it, and then reestablish your rhythm first again. And what about Andrey Pulayaev? TKOing Nick Klein in the second round. Klein came out with a hectic pace, keeping himself on the outside the lead foot of Pulayaev, throwing some kicks, went for the single leg takedown, got the fight to the ground. It looked like it did offset Pulayaev. Klein went for the back, face cranked, but Pulayaev was able to get out of it, kick out the fence. And when they stayed standing after that, Pulayaev was laying some good shots, left straights, but ended the first round on the ground. And in the second round, the pace definitely slowed down for Klein. Pulayaev was able to defend the takedowns better and landed one of the most brutal body kicks I have ever seen. First, he threw a short left straight, sort of like a fake, then came over the side with a right hook and got Nick Klein to shell up high, opening up the body, and Pulayaev just crushed him to the liver with an insane body kick and finished the fight off of that. Amazing win by Andrey Pulayaev. And then Bashi had an easy win. Just took him to the ground, got his back when he was standing up, and submitted with the rear naked choke. Very straightforward, easy win for Bashi. And then Rafael Esteban defeats Felipe Bunes by unanimous decision. 29-28, not the most exciting fight. Bunes had negative takedown defense, couldn't stop a single takedown. He was too comfortable on the ground, going for submissions. He did get the buggy choke in the first round, but it wasn't enough to submit Esteban. They sat in that submission for so long. The first round ended with that choke. I don't know if we'll ever see a buggy choke finish in the UFC. I mean, we did get a twister before, and a lot of people didn't think a twister submission would be successful, but the buggy choke is very difficult, especially with fighters now who are so good at defending submissions. But Esteban was just landing ground and pound shots, defending the submission attempts, and landing the better punches in the stand-up too. Both of these guys stand so tall in the striking. It looked like they were just standing in front of each other, throwing punches, and Esteban was winning those, so solid win for the undefeated Rafael Esteban. And then finally, Piera Rodriguez defeats Caitlin Souza by a split decision. This was a good fight. It was very close, but Rodriguez won, I think, both in her striking and grappling. Although Souza landed some good strikes herself, Rodriguez's knees in the clinch were so impactful in winning on the scorecards. Not only that, but the well-timed takedowns, going under the punches of Caitlin Souza, getting her to the ground from there, or ducking under the spinning hook kick, countering with a takedown there too. I think that is ultimately the reason why Rodriguez won the split decision. Souza's athletic, she's an exciting fighter, throws like flying knees and spinning attacks and stuff like that, tries to land with her power punches, and always puts on a good fight, but it's a great win for Rodriguez. And that is the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you give the video a like, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video.